This video is intended for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Thumbnails are created to catch attention and may not accurately represent the actual content of the video. Content includes opinions and information gathered from public sources, medical literature, summaries, and online discussions. We do not claim full accuracy. Please verify all information independently. This video does not intend to target, defame, or disrespect any individual, medical professional, or pharmaceutical company. I am not a licensed medical professional, pharmacist, or healthcare provider. Nothing in this video constitutes medical advice. Always consult your doctor or licensed medical professional before making any decisions about medications or medical supplies. The views expressed here are my own and are for general informational purposes only. This content is meant to spark thoughtful reflection, not to replace professional medical guidance. Please watch with an open mind. Thank you for being part of our prepping family. Let me ask you something. If you couldn't get to a pharmacy for 30 days, would your family be okay? Not your food, not your water, your medicine, the blood pressure medication that someone in your household takes every morning, the insulin, the inhaler, the prescription that requires a monthly refill, the over-the-counter pain relievers, the antihistamines, the wound care supplies. Would you have what you need for a month? Most preppers, people who have thought deeply about food and water and power, have never seriously answered that question. And the answer for most households is no. Today we're going to change that. In 2017, after Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, the island's healthcare system collapsed. For months, people with chronic conditions, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, couldn't get their medications. Pharmacies were destroyed or out of stock. Supply chains to the island were severed. Hospitals were running on generators. People died, not from the storm itself, but from the medical vacuum that followed it. And Puerto Rico was not some unprepared third world scenario. It was an American territory, 3 million people with access to the full weight of the United States resources. If that can happen there, understand clearly, it can happen anywhere. Medical preparedness is not a separate category from food and water preparedness. It is part of the same conversation. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build it. Prescription medications, the hardest problem. Let's start with the most critical issue and the most difficult to solve. If you or someone in your household takes daily prescription medication, building a supply buffer is genuinely challenging. Insurance typically limit refills to 30 days. Controlled substances have even tighter restrictions. But here are legitimate strategies that work. Talk to your doctor directly. In many states, doctors can prescribe a 90-day supply of non-controlled maintenance medications. Ask specifically. Many doctors will accommodate patients who frame it as an emergency preparedness concern. Mail order pharmacies. Insurance plans that include mail order pharmacy options frequently allow 90-day fills at reduced copay. This is one of the most underused tools in prescription management. Travel supplies. If you travel, your doctor can often write a separate prescription for a travel supply. Keep it sealed and stored at home. Never let your supply drop below 2 weeks. Refill at the 2-week mark, not the last day. That gap between when you run out and when you can get more is where crises happen. Over-the-counter essentials every household needs. Beyond prescriptions, there are over-the-counter items that every prepared household should have in depth. These are common, cheap, and completely overlooked until they're desperately needed. Pain and fever management, acetaminophen and ibuprofen. Stock both. They work through different mechanisms and can be alternated. Aspirin for adults who might face cardiac events, children's formulations if you have kids, antihistamines, diphenhydramine, Benadryl for allergic reactions, insect stings, and sleep aid. Non-drowsy versions for daytime use, antidiarrheal, loperamide, Imodium. In a survival situation, severe diarrhea causes dangerous dehydration faster than most people realize. This is a critical supply. Antacids. Stomach issues are common during high-stress emergency situations. Cold and flu medications, decongestants, cough suppressants, throat lozenges, electrolyte packets, Pedialyte or similar. Critical for rehydration when illness or heat causes fluid loss. Wound care, the category nobody stocks deeply enough. In a grid down or emergency scenario, medical care becomes unavailable or severely delayed. That means a wound that would normally be treated in an ER becomes your responsibility. Your wound care supply should include sterile gauze pads in multiple sizes, adhesive bandages in multiple sizes, medical tape, elastic bandage wraps, antiseptic wipes or solution, antibiotic ointment, butterfly closure strips. These are small wound closures that can hold a cut closed without stitches, irrigation, syringe for cleaning wounds, tweezers, medical scissors. This is not an extreme supply. This is what every household should already have. Most don't. Dental emergency supplies. I mentioned this briefly in our last script, but I want to go deeper here because dental emergencies are brutal, debilitating, and completely unplanned for by most preppers. Tooth pain without access to a dentist is one of the most incapacitating experiences a person can have. And in a prolonged emergency, dental care is the first professional service to become unavailable. Stock dental floss, fluoride toothpaste, extra toothbrushes, temporary dental cement available at any pharmacy, dental wax, and oil of cloves, which is a natural topical pain reliever for tooth pain that has been used for centuries. None of these replace professional dental care, but they can manage a dental emergency long enough to get through a crisis. Eyeglasses and vision. This is one of the most overlooked medical preps of all. If you wear prescription glasses and your glasses break in an emergency, your ability to navigate, read, drive, and function is severely compromised. Keep a backup pair. They don't have to be fashionable. They just have to work. Websites like Zenni Optical allow you to order prescription glasses for under $20. Get a backup pair. Put them somewhere safe. Do it this week. Contact lens wearers. Keep a supply of glasses as a backup. Contacts require cleaning solution and clean hands to handle safely. In a dirty or low-resource environment, glasses become the safer option. Mental health preparedness. This one doesn't get talked about enough. Extended emergencies create extreme psychological stress, and for adults, for children, for elderly family members, anxiety, depression, sleep disruption, and acute stress responses are normal reactions to abnormal situations. If someone in your household manages mental health conditions with medication, apply the same 90-day supply strategy to those prescriptions as you would to blood pressure or diabetes medications. Beyond medication, stock a journal and pen, books and physical games, comfort items for children, and an emergency communication plan so family members know how to reach each other. Community connection is one of the most powerful mental health protections during crisis. Know your neighbors. Build those relationships now. We'll talk more about that in an upcoming video. Building your medical binder. One final critical piece of medical preparedness that almost nobody does. Create a physical medical binder for every member of your household. include a list of all current medications with dosages, allergy information, the name and phone number of every doctor and specialist, copies of critical prescriptions, insurance information, and a brief medical history summary. In an emergency where a family member is unconscious or unable to communicate, wine carding, this binder could save their life by giving first responders the information they need immediately. Store it somewhere accessible and known to every adult in your household. Here's your action plan this week. First, go through your medicine cabinet today. Identify what you're running low on, make a list. Second, call your doctor or pharmacy and ask about 90-day prescription options. Just ask. The worst they can say is no. Third, stock 1 month's worth of the over-the-counter essentials I listed. Do it on your next grocery run. Fourth, order a backup pair of glasses if you wear them. Today, it takes 10 minutes. And fifth, start your medical binder. 1 page per family member. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist. We spend so much time thinking about food and water and shelter, and all of it matters deeply. But the body that needs food and water also needs medicine. It gets injured. It gets sick. It has needs that a pantry alone cannot meet. The truly prepared family has thought about all of it. And they've taken the quiet, unglamorous steps to build a medical supply the same way they've built a food supply. 1 step at a time, 1 preparation at a time. Stay safe. Keep prepping. I'll see you in the next video.